Hello and welcome to another video from toy-polloi. Now I've got a bit of a challenge on my hands ahead of me, as you can see here in this Luke Bespin figure. Now I picked this up from Richard Temple off the Echo-based trading page on Facebook. He kindly donated this to toy-polloi as a little bit of a challenge job. As you can see, it's actually quite a nice Luke Bespin figure. There's very little wear on the underlying paint, and the figure's actually in pretty nice condition. But, and now here's the big but, at some point he's been painted. Now at the moment it's hard to tell what sort of paint it is. I think it may be black spray paint, although it could be black acrylic. So I'm going to have a bit of a challenge on my hands now to see if I can actually restore this figure. I've yet to try anything on him. This is exactly how he came out of the package to me. So I think the first thing I'm going to have to do is give him a good clean and a wash in some really hot soapy water with a toothbrush or something, see if I can get any of this paint off sort of first. But actually, as it stands, I don't even know if I can save him. So this video will document whatever I try to see if I can actually restore this guy. It may not work, and if it doesn't work I'll show you what's left of him at the end. So let's start off by giving him a wash in hot soapy water with a toothbrush, just to try and free up some of this paint and see how he looks after that. So after about 10 minutes work using some very hot water and a small toothbrush, you can see that I've made actually quite a difference to him. I've only been working on one side just so that you can see the difference between before and after. So this is what it was like before, this is what it was like after I've done the work. And you can see I've managed to get a large percentage of the paint off. It turns out, I reckon, that it's spray paint, not acrylic paint, which is why it's so well stuck. But even with hot water, a small toothbrush and the end of a knife, you can sort of chip away the paint, and it doesn't actually stick particularly well to the plastic. Even on the painted sections, you can see I've managed to get most of the black paint off. There's still a few little specks in there, but the face is actually looking a lot better already. So I now want to try another technique that I've previously used in videos, and that is to use brake fluid. Brake fluid is very good at breaking down spray paint, especially sort of old spray paint. So I want to try it on this, but I don't want to dunk the whole figure in the brake fluid, because I have a feeling it may damage some of the original paint. So what I'm going to do is dab it on and see what happens. So let's set that up, and we'll leave it for an hour or so and see if it actually makes any difference. If it doesn't, I think I'm going to have to go back to this very time-consuming job of carefully picking the paint off by hand. But I have a feeling that the brake fluid may make a difference, so let's try that. So as this figure's only got a small amount of original paint on it, I don't want to dunk it, because I do think this brake fluid sort of could cause damage to this original paint. So I'm just going to use a cotton bud here and get some brake fluid and dab it onto the worst affected areas, which are sort of around his chest. I'm going to liberally dab this on and just let it soak for a little bit like this. I don't want to dunk the whole figure, and maybe this will work, maybe it won't, but it's always worth a try sometimes doing these things. It's the only way to find out if it's going to make any difference by doing this. So it's been about 20 minutes, half an hour since I put the brake fluid on, and I have to say it's actually starting to make a little bit of a difference. The paint is starting to ease off a little bit easier, so it does look like it was some sort of spray paint based sort of paint that was used. It's still not easy to get off. I'm still using the tip of a knife and you know, as Q-tip here, but it's the stuff that's on the hands. If you can see this hand here, it's actually coming off a lot easier, and the original paint is staying stuck, so that's pretty good news. So I think I'm going to carry on using the brake fluid, dropping a little bit more on, and just keep working away at it. And I think a combination of a Q-tip, brake fluid and the tip of a knife, and I think all of this paint is going to come off fairly easily with a little bit of patience, as always. And so after quite a lot of patience and a lot of tinkering about, here is the final figure. And I think, as you can see, he doesn't look too bad. There are still a few tiny little areas where the paint is pretty well sort of impossible to get out, especially down the edge of his body where the two parts are welded together. Some of the paint has got sort of right into a small crack there, and I just can't get that out. Again, a little bit around his neck here, but otherwise the figure is looking in remarkably good condition compared to how it was when it arrived here at toy-polloi. I've managed to get, I would say, nearly 95% of that black paint off, and the figure itself is actually not looking too bad. It's certainly not going to win any prizes in the sort of grading stakes, but overall it's actually not a bad figure now. It's certainly one that you could display and most people wouldn't even know that it had ever been spray painted black. So I'm pretty pleased with how that's come out. It's a little bit loose and floppy, but it is an old figure. It's obviously been well played with and well loved at one point in its life, but overall it's not bad. So there you go. That's how you go about restoring a figure that most people would otherwise chuck in the bin. But I think it just goes to show that with a little bit of love and care and patience, you can actually make even the roughest of figures look pretty nice. And that's going to go now on display here at toy-polloi as a figure that I've saved from the trash can. So I hope that's been of interest to you, and thanks for watching.